Previously on Tales of Familial Eternity.
Before we can actually get this ritual started, we're going to need a couple of materials. But they're very specific crystals and they come from quite a number of locations. There's a place called Silvery Moon, and there's also some crystals over in the peaks of Stormhorns, actually. Oops. And lastly, there's a couple of crystals that can be found over at the Spider Haunt Woods. If you can gather up those crystals and bring it back here, I think we'll be able to pull off the ritual. So you can stay a few nights to recover and then take off on your adventure. I really don't want to linger on this conversation for any longer than I have to. Kids with shitty parents, we kind of have to stick together.
There's at least one good thing that happened to both of us. I think we turned out somewhat alright.
Speak for yourself. Are you guys gonna stay for some magic lessons, or what's happening?
I am.
Really?
Yeah, I was actually looking around for Josh to ask him if he could teach me some more magic.
I'll be happy to teach you more about magic, Devora.
Thanks!
I mean, I just have so many questions in my head that I can't really focus on anything, you know?
How about we get out of this stuffy room, we'll raid the kitchen, and then afterwards you can go and talk to her.
Okay.
You guys are still hanging out within like those couple of days. Do you guys have anything you want to do at this particular point? Any things you want to look at? Any like people you want to talk to? Like anything like that?
Does Maxwell ever take a break? I think that's Solis's burning question.
Do you want to ask him, or do you just want to like look around to see just how much work are you doing? Because if you just ask him, you'll ask him. But if you're just like trying to figure this out on your own, I will make you roll investigation.
I think it's a combination of both. Like she's probably, because he's always with Regina, so like she's just observing him always being by her side, and she's probably just thinking, does he ever take a break?
Roll investigation.
Are we talking about like, legit investigation?
Yes.
I'll do it. Cool.
Investigate.
It's an 18.
Oh my god, you're investigating the shit out of this dilemma.
It's a burning question.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yep, you are investigating the shit out of this. So, you've been keeping a very close eye on Maxwell, just because does he ever not work? And it seems like the answer is he is always working.
Oh my gosh.
If he's not with Regina, which is granted a lot of what he does, he's talking with other staff members and giving them like orders on what to do next. He's talking with some of the sick people, the sick guests from the whole murder mystery thing, and dealing with that situation. He's just, you don't ever see him eat or sleep or anything. He's just always working.
So he's basically Bailiwick from Sophia the First.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know that reference, but
Bailiwick's
sure.
such a great character. He's the castle steward in the show. He's voiced by Tim Gunn.
Cool. Still don't know him, but I'm going to assume that this is a fair comparison. So yes, this, to answer your burning question, he's always working.
And that kind of creeps her out.
Somebody has to be responsible in this castle. And I don't know if you realize this, but Regina is holding up cards with scores on them.
And watching Josh, Devora, and Phoenix practice magic.
Yeah, so... Alright, so that answers that burning question. Does anybody else have any other burning questions? Or, like, just other things they want to do real quick?
I mean, I'd like to go look at the portrait, but I don't think we know the existence of it. I think Josh is the only one that knows the existence of the portrait.
You can look at the portrait. You can. Yeah. You're wandering around the castle. You find the portrait.
Okay.
But I mean, sure. Wasn't it like in some like fucking hidden passageways?
It was just in the hallway. It's the family portrait. They're not going to hide that away. There was a family here.
Okay. I thought I remembered something about, like, Regina taking him, like, down into, like, the secret corridor.
Remember, there was a party happening elsewhere. That's why she had to bring him over to this part of the castle.
Okay.
Yeah, but now that you guys are allowed to just wander around the castle at your leisure, there's nothing stopping you from coming across this portrait.
Okay.
And it's not hidden or anything, it's this beautiful portrait.
It is beautiful.
It will be beautiful once I describe it. With words.
Okay, so Devora goes to look at the picture.
Okay. So
I think I'm trying to remember. I don't remember if Josh mentioned to Devora and Solis that she's royalty.
Yeah, I don't think he mentioned the whole royalty thing. That was only the Phoenix and Josh conversation.
Yeah. So only Phoenix is the only one that knows that Josh is royalty.
Yeah, currently.
But Josh is planning on telling Devora and Solis.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that, though. We have a portrait to look at.
Yeah, Devora sees the portrait and, like, examines it.
Okay, so you find this larger-than-life portrait that's hanging in the middle of this hallway. There's 4 immediately identifiable figures in this painting. The first is a very tall, thin man whose arms are wrapped around his wives. There's something curious about this man's appearance, though. Despite appearing human, there's a painted underglow to his skin, and in some weird lighting, it kind of looks like it's an illuminated skeleton underneath his regular person skin. You get the feeling that if, like, the light was a little bit better, you'd be able to just, like, full-on see this guy's skeleton, which is kind of creepy. The next figure is a larger, thicker satyr. Satyr. I hate that word already, and I have to say it like 12 times.
You say it like there's a D in it, because it's not a T sound, it's a D. It's more of a D sound. Or, like, a softer T.
Satyr. I have it in my notes, but, like, I fucked it up anyway. The next figure is a larger, thicker satyr woman. Her skin is a patchwork of lighter and darker tones. Her small horns are covered with tiny green, sea green flowers in various stages of bloom. In one of her arms, she's holding several transparent egg-type things, and she's also holding the hand of a much smaller merfolk woman. This particular figure, the merfolk woman, has the most brilliant orange hair, and it seems to be floating ever so slightly, even though it doesn't seem like there's supposed to be water in this painting. While the others bore crowns, hers is the most elegant and beautiful out of them all. Within her arms is the final immediately identifiable figure, and it's a very small merfolk child. Much like the mother holding them, this child has brilliant orange hair, and in fact, this child is mostly hair. This doesn't factor at all into the child's expression, which is one of joy. Their eyes are locked onto the transparent eggs in the other mother's arm, and upon closer inspection, you can see even tinier figures in those little legs. Aww. 3 of which seem to have more skeleton-like features and various satyr and merfolk-like qualities.
Aww.
One, though, is definitely just pure satyr, or at least in appearance. And I want you guys to wait one moment, because I want to show you something.
Did you finish the portrait?
You fucking know I did.
Yeah!
I'm excited.
Excite!
I always get really excited when you go to put stuff in the during session thing.
Oh,
look at that!
Oh my god!
Yep.
Look at that little trash!
Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Oh, that's so cute!
I can't wait for this episode to be only squeals over my art that people can't see.
Look at that tiny Josh! No! Also, like, the whole thing with Will is really cool. How you did that is like really cool.
I really like what you did with Will.
Yes.
Let's all comment on this visual medium, this auditory podcast.
Well, I mean, you just described the painting.
That is true. I did that on purpose. I don't know what you want to do with it right now, besides look at it.
I want to marry it.
So Solis, I'm gonna need you to roll to like steal this painting.
No, this is the player themselves.
Robust, I'm gonna need you to roll to steal this painting.
I mean, Devora just wanted to get a closer look at it. She's probably seen it as she's walked around the halls, but she hasn't had a good enough chance to take a nice look at the portrait.
Okay.
And it is a very nice portrait.
It is a very nice portrait. You want to do a small history check for me, please?
Yeah, okay, cool. That's a 2 + 2, that's 4.
Nope. You look at this painting and you think, this is a good painting. Somebody clearly spent a really sad amount of time doing this. Don't they have other things to do with their Saturdays?
Oh my god.
Solis is looking at this painting with you, right? Or not? What's Solis doing?
That's a good question. I guess she finally made her conclusion about the whole Maxwell fiasco, and she's just wandering the halls deep in thought.
Okay.
And she happens upon Devora looking up at the portrait, and she's like, "Oh, hello, Devora."
Oh, hey, Solis.
Still staring at that portrait?
Mm-hmm.
It's really lovely.
It is.
Should I roll for investigation? I mean, history.
Yeah, you can roll for history. I was going to segue into that. I just wanted like a small pause after the whole. It's a nice painting.
Okay, I got a 12 + 2, so 14.
Okay, that's a pretty good roll. So you're staring at this.
10 more than mine.
Oh, someone's jealous. So, you're staring at this very, very lovely painting, if I do say so myself. And you notice that the little merfolk child has an interesting ring, just kind of like draped around it. You've seen that ring before. You're pretty sure that's Josh's ring.
Wait a moment. Devora, do you notice that ring around that bigger child's neck?
Yeah.
Doesn't that kind of look like Josh's?
Holy shit!
And oh my gosh, the hair color is like exact.
Okay, yeah, so that's the end of that.
Wait, I think I like to imagine they both look at each other and they look back at the portrait and then they look down the hallway and they just shout,
Josh!
When Solis and Devora was talking about Josh, somewhere in the distance, Josh sneezes.
I love it.
Alright, and that's how that scene ends.
Alright, that's good. Alright. Getting like back into the actual D&D part of D&D. So, you guys have been here for about a week now, and during this week, the castle has been very active with doctors from various parts of the kingdom coming in to check on these ill guests. Several times a day, especially you, Solis, you see Maxwell talking with these doctors. And in these instances, Regina is very rarely with him. Instead, she actually chooses to spend most of her time hanging out with your group, but especially with Josh. On the rare occasion she is with Maxwell and these doctors, she looks very visibly uncomfortable and perhaps a little bit bored by this whole conversation.
Understandable.
By the end of the week, the other guests are well enough to leave, and a whole day is spent seeing them off. At the end of the day, there's a sense of relief that sweeps over the castle, now that, like, the big crowd is gone. And the day after the guests leave, Regina requests that your group meet up with her in her private study. She's already sitting in her comfy chair by the time you guys walk in, and she was actually in the middle of a conversation with Maxwell before you guys walk in, and it seems to have been a little bit of a heated conversation, but it's immediately dropped the second you guys walk in.
That's not good.
She clears her throat and hey everyone, please take a seat.
Devora finds a seat and sits down.
Josh does take a seat. He does take a seat near Regina.
There's like cookies if you guys want to have some.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
Devora does in fact take the cookie.
Phoenix kind of just there's a couple of little plates of cookie. He takes a whole plate for himself. Regina starts us off by apologizing a little bit. So, last week, things were a little bit crazy with the whole, all my guests almost being murdered, and, I was kind of overwhelmed, and I think as a result, I might have overlooked a couple of details the last time we talked like this. So when we had, like, our last meeting, I told you guys about the rift that we have here. You guys remember that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. The rift was created like a good 50 years ago, and everything that it touches becomes corrupted. And we sealed off the rift, though, from the rest of the kingdom, but that might not matter so much if the surface is being corrupted by that plague thing that's happening now. So, we talked about, like, closing the rift is the best thing to do at this point. At the very least, it'll stop the spread of this corruption, but we don't know if it'll undo the damage, but I think it's just important to get it to stop first. And that's a thing I didn't mention, that we don't know if this will completely undo everything, but it's worth a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I told you guys about how in order to close the rift, we need to collect some crystals first. The closest ones are over in Silvery Moon, and I did a couple of little calls, and I know where some of those crystals are being kept in that city. So you guys haven't heard of Silver Moon's Museum of Natural History, have you?
No.
History check?
Who wants to do a history check?
I think me and Solis need to do a history check because we have canonically been to this kingdom before.
That is true.
That's a nat 20!
Oh shit! You worked there once, actually. No.
Hell yeah, new dice! You have redeemed yourself!
Ah, that's beautiful.
I was just slightly I was close. I got an 18.
That was good, though. Yeah, so, the Museum of Natural History is a really big deal. Any museum of natural history is a big deal, but especially the only one that that this particular kingdom has. It's their largest museum. It holds so much information from, like, history to whatever counts for science in a fantasy world to magic. It was this very
fantasy
big...
submarines.
Yeah, fantasy submarines. The signs of me not giving a shit. But, you guys immediately remember that, yeah, this museum was quite a big deal. And I say was because you also remember that quite a while back, there was a small earthquake that hit that particular city. Most of that city is fine, but the museum got hit real bad.
Oh no.
And from your understanding, from what you remember, they were having a hard time finding the funds and finding, like, people to go and work and fix this museum up. They instead decided to, like, move it elsewhere. But the old museum is still there, from your understanding, from what you remember.
Okay.
It's there. It's all of, like, the exhibits that were there are still there. It was just, like, a not so great scene. But you guys remember visiting this place back in its heyday. Solis, you actually remember taking a quick stop here, like, right before this nonsense happened. Like, you just missed it.
Lucky me.
Yep. So, yeah, that's the museum, and you guys know this information now. Prompting Regina's question again, do you guys know about this museum?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, from my understanding, those crystals are still in that building, though. You guys are gonna have to go in and get those crystals, if that's okay.
Alright.
Just be careful when you go, because the museum's structural integrity isn't the best in the world anymore. It's just going to be a little bit of a dangerous trip, but you guys will be fine. Once you guys get your hands on the crystal, be sure to come back to this castle right away.
Got it.
Got it.
Any questions, I guess? Comments, concerns? More cookies?
What does the crystal look like?
Oh, it's just like your big standard crystal. I believe this one is blue, and it'll light up. You'll know it when you see it.
All right.
Anything else?
I'm trying to think of how to word this question.
Yes, I can give you the recipe for those cookies. I just don't know it personally.
Maxwell?
He takes out a paper and he starts writing the
Solis is just internally shaking her head. This poor man.
Someone give him a vacation, please. But yeah, he writes it down and he hands it to Devora.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is the museum, like, full of water? Or are Solis and I gonna be able to breathe in there?
No, it's not filled with water, from what I've been told. Some of the rooms are inaccessible, but I think it's still full of air.
Okay.
You should be good.
And it's been abandoned this whole time? Like, there's no one living there at the moment?
Nope. Well, I mean, outside of, like, I don't know, maybe like crabs that decided to move in or something. Maybe a few slugs. But, like, there aren't any people there. Well, maybe there is 1 or 2 squatters, but I'm not sure. You'll have to figure that out on your own.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright, are we all good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So, one little thing before you guys go. I'm gonna give you guys, like, your own submarine to take there, but I have that all arranged for tomorrow. For today, though, I wanted to give you a little gift. Oh, besides the cookies. She pulls out of a little bag some mirrors of communication.
Woohoo!
And they all have, like...
Devora has, like, 3 of these now.
Why do you have so many? Oh.
Can't you just wire it to 1?
Devora probably asks, like, is there any way to, like, wire frequencies of mirrors of communication to 1? Because I have, like, 2 of those already.
Oh. Regina goes over to you and she starts helping you with your mirrors of communication. They're fantasy cell phones, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
They have numbers that they can save into it, so it's just a phone, but, like, as a mirror. It FaceTimes all the time. And really, she just, like, transfers the data from the one that she's giving you to the one that Galen gave you. So Galen's will be, like, your personal phone, I guess.
Work and personal.
Yep.
Yep.
Keep those separate. Otherwise, you're not going to be allowed to be a president of the United States of America. Anyway, political commentary aside, Regina does kind of ask as she's, like, transferring over these numbers, like, why do you have 2 of them?
One's a work mirror.
Oh.
Galen gave me the other one.
Wait, I thought your work was adventuring. Do adventurers have other jobs?
I mean, kind of. We can be part of guilds.
Oh.
I mean, a lot of venturing is pretty much the main job. We just get a lot of smaller jobs, like the one that started this entire thing with my friend who hired us to take a supply wagon to Neverwinter, and then we got wrapped up in all that shit.
Wow, sounds like you guys had, like, a really wild ride so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta see what's up with those guilds, though. I think we're supposed to have contact with one, but I think I lost the number or something. Or maybe they never gave it to me.
If you really need it, I got it. I got the number to a guild.
Oh. And she takes out her phone and she puts that number in her phone. And she gives everybody else, you know, their mirrors. Phoenix also has 2 now, and he just transfers his stuff over to his old one. Because, fuck, he's not carrying 2. Why would he do that?
Is this the latest model?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been meaning to upgrade, so thank you.
You're welcome.
She just transfers her old one.
Only the best for my friends.
Oh, I love this.
You also notice that, like, the mirrors that Regina is giving you are, like, bezazzled in, like, cute designs.
I love it. It's perfect.
Precisely why Solis transfers it over.
I'm glad everybody likes their mirrors, and Regina's glad everyone likes their mirrors. But yeah, she just wants to be able to keep in touch with everybody. And also everybody's mirrors have each other's numbers. I don't know why you would need it, but, you know.
Just in case we have to split up for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so, I guess I'll let you guys do whatever you want for tonight, and you guys can set off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys want any more cookies? Because I want more cookies.
Yeah.
I'll take several.
I'm good, thank you.
Regina just kind of, like, looks over to Maxwell expectantly, and he just kind of holds in a sigh and goes to get more cookies.
This poor man.
This poor guy.
I also
He's
feel
been
like
through so much.
I want to bring this up. I feel like by this point, Devora's gotten her spells down,
Okay.
so she probably has a cat with her now.
Just permanently?
See,
Yes.
that brings up a point I wanted to ask earlier.
Okay.
When Devora forms her familiar, is Shadowstalker jealous?
Probably not. The familiar can't really fight.
True.
Okay.
The fun fact about familiars is when you cast a spell with a range of touch, your familiar can deliver the spell. So there's
Goodness.
that the familiar can do.
Nice.
So you have a cat and a wolf just following you around.
Yes.
Goodness gracious. Wait, did you name your familiar?
I gotta think about that. I gotta think of a good name because the familiar can be... It's the same familiar, it can just take on different forms. So I gotta really think about that.
Okay. I also want to point out that if Shadowstalker is in this room right now, Regina has stopped being on her chair and is just, like, hugging this wolf.
Of course.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's happening now, I guess. Yeah.
So yeah, Devora also not only has Shadowstalker in the room, but she has like a cat curled up around her neck.
That's adorable. Phoenix sneezes softly in the background. Because, fun fact, he's also allergic to cats.
Oh fuck, I forgot about that!
Plot twist. Wait, it's a magical cat.
Yeah, hold on, it's a magic cat!
It's a small sneeze.
I'm gonna, like, classify this cat as a fae.
Okay.
Because that's a thing I can do. I can choose to have it classified as a celestial fae or fiend instead of a beast.
Okay.
This is a magic cat, damn it.
So he sneezes, but it's just, like, unrelated to the cat. But just as a fun fact, he is allergic to cats and dogs. He's not allowed to have fun.
That's so sad.
I know, it's a really pathetic life he lives. I'm just gonna keep throwing him under the bus, unfortunately. Yeah, you guys, I guess, continue to hang out in this room for a little while, and
I also, hold on real quick, sorry, I just realized it doesn't say that the cat can't be a kitten. So that's what Devora has.
oh,
What's the breed type?
welcome to Cats Podcasts, where we just talk about magical cats we can summon.
I mean, we knew this was coming.
We did.
Continue on while I figure this out.
Okay. So, Solis, you remember
Yes.
that a million years ago, and by a million I mean a week ago, Maxwell was kind of trying to remember where he last saw you. And he wasn't able to do that. But if you want, you can take a moment to just remember the last time you saw him outside of this situation.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, sure. Is that a history?
That would be a history.
Okie dokie.
Unless you want to investigate your mind space, but I'm pretty sure that's the same, like, pluses.
I got a 15 plus 2, so 17.
Okay, yeah, you remember a lot of shit. The last time you were here, which was a good while ago, right? Like a century or so?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So the last time you were here was about a century ago. You saw him at one of these, like, royal parties, and he was definitely not in the position he is now. He was much, much lower, and you remember him just being like this scrawny kid, just hanging out at this party, a party that he's only really allowed to attend because he works at the castle, and just very clearly uncomfortable being at that party. He ends up talking to you a lot of that particular night just because he has no one else to talk to, really. Even though he kind of has his acts together now, back then, he was, like, very anxiety-ridden, very not having this situation at all. It seems like he's come a long way since then.
Yeah. And in one way she's glad, but in another she's still kind of sad just because, wow, this guy does not rest.
Nope, he does not. But you also remember that a major part of his job even back then was to be a sort of tutor for the royal heirs that would quickly follow. That was, like, the thing he was being trained for at that moment, and I guess this is just what it's become now. Less of a tutor and more of just the guy that handles all of Regina's nonsense.
Oh boy.
Yep. So while you're remembering that, everybody else is having a great time hanging out and eating cookies and then watching Regina be emotionally attached to this wolf.
I've also decided that the kitten Devora has is an orange Norwegian forest cat.
I had a feeling it was going to be orange.
Everything's orange here. And by everything, I
Okay.
just mean Josh's hair.
And Devora's.
And divorced. That's right. I'm sorry.
Oh, so everyone's a redhead now.
I hope that the cat doesn't hide itself in Josh's hair because that has happened before.
We'll never find her. We'll never find her.
No.
We'll
The
never find
oranges will blend and be gone.
You will just hear very faint meows.
Yep.
Every so often from Josh's hair.
Sometimes you wonder if it's just Josh trying to throw you guys off, because you'll never know. You don't know the difference.
Hey everybody, Siobhan here. Looks like we're getting closer to the end of this little murder mystery, even though technically nobody died, so that's good. As always, I'd like to give a big shout out to everybody who takes their time to listen and comment on, every episode. It really is appreciated that we get your guys' feedback. We love seeing the comments and everything. So again, thank you guys so much. With this interlude coming to a close, I'm definitely excited for the upcoming major arc because it's a lot of fun. Do you guys want to know when new episodes come out? Maybe see some other campaign content like art? Follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at TofeCast. That's TOFE cast. You'll be the first to know when a new episode is out and where to listen to it. If you would like to support the podcast, please check us out at tofecast.tumblr.com/support. There you'll find our official red.
So yeah, you guys have like a pretty good rest of the evening. Everything is relatively lighthearted amongst your group, although when Maxwell does return, there's some level of like sourness. He keeps it to himself mostly, but that basically wraps up that day. So the following day, a fantasy submarine arrives for your group by early light. While there's still the concept of day and night down here, the light from the surface just barely reaches down this far, and as a result, the patches of time is a little bit more subtle than it would be normally.
This is off topic, but I felt like during that conversation with while Max was still here, I felt that could have been the time for like Josh to tell Solis and Devora, even though they already know at this point that he's also royalty.
Yeah, we never did wrap up that whole shouting part.
Yeah, I feel like that happened almost immediately after we called for him. After we looked at the portrait.
Okay.
I mean, the rest of us should know because we're Josh's party members, and Regina did say for everybody else to keep it on the download from everybody else. So I don't think Maxwell should know about this, because I don't think he would let us go if he knew. He would demand Josh to stay at the castle.
I mean, he's already having a whole hard time with, like, Regina and wanting to do this plan at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Finding out that the fucking eldest child is still alive.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, he will definitely not let Josh go on this adventure right now if he knew.
Nope. We can do that after we save the world.
Yes, we can let him know after everything's all said and done. And also for anybody who didn't look in the chat, the kitten's name is Sunset.
Oh,
yeah, I saw.
It's just so adorable.
That's adorable.
Yeah, I love it.
But anyway, yeah, you guys are right.
So we're the only ones that know. Our party and Regina are the only ones that know about this whole. Josh is the eldest child of the royal family.
Yeah.
Best friend secrets. She's gonna make like little friendship bracelets for all of you guys next. Anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on. Unless you guys have any more comments.
Nah.
I hope you guys wear those friendship bracelets for the rest of forever.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So, anyway, moving on. This fantasy submarine comes by early light. By the way, the person that brought you here was dismissed really soon after this whole shenanigans went down. So, like, they're not here, but Regina and Maxwell do come to see you off. And she explains that this submarine is magically enhanced to be autopiloted.
Sweet. Good, because I don't think any of us know how to drive a submarine, actually.
She didn't think you did. Not to be mean, I just don't know what you guys are capable of. and I didn't want to risk.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't think any of us have any sort of fucking proficiency in vehicles.
Nope.
None of us are fighters.
Phoenix coughs. Anyway,
I said I didn't think.
You don't know. You don't know his life story. No, I don't even think any of you guys asked for his life story, so why would you know it?
Well, I don't think he's gonna straight up tell us.
Nope, he's hard ass about it. But anyway, so Regina comes here to see you guys off, and she wishes you all luck, and she gives Josh a big hug.
Josh does give her a big hug back.
Ah, adorable. Family moments. Maxwell doesn't know. Anyway. So, are you guys gonna get in the submarine? Or is there, like, any last minute things you want to do?
Solis just kind of, like, calls out, Max, please take a nap.
Please take a break!
Please don't call me Max.
I know, I was gonna make a take a break joke, too. Take a break.
Oh, how turns have tabled. Anyway. So yeah, you guys head into the submarine. It starts to take off. Regina is waving you guys down the entire time until she can't see you anymore.
No.
Yeah. Maxwell is just standing there. As per usual.
Josh is waving back at Regina too until you can't see her anymore.
Oh, it's adorable. I live for family shit. Anyway.
Same.
So, the submarine heads straight over to a Silvery Moon, and the trip there is a short one. It lasts maybe just under an hour. As you travel over the kingdom, you see the same sort of scenery as the last time you traveled. Stretches of land that resemble, like, seaweed forests, tall buildings that look like coral reefs with, like, tubes connecting them together. The occasional merfolk just swimming about, probably on their daily commute or whatever. I don't know what merfolk do. Anyway, within the hour, you see the city of Silvery Moon. And from a glance, you can tell that this city is nearly as big as Neverwinter, so it's pretty sizable. Your submarine weaves through the coral-like buildings with ease until it reaches a sad-looking part of town. Many of the buildings here are in various states of disrepair, and a few of the buildings are just demolished altogether. At a glance, you can tell that one of the sad-looking buildings is by far larger than the others. And what really gives it away that this is your building is that there's bright algae on the side of it that mostly spells out Silvery Moon's Museum of Natural History. The submarine automatically goes inside the museum's entrance. And you have now arrived at this sad-looking museum. Are you guys gonna get out? Do you want to just, like, not go inside?
Get out.
Get out.
Just take the submarine and go.
Just does get out of the submarine hesitantly.
Okay, that's fair. So all of you guys get out of the submarine, and the first room that you guys walk into is the lobby of sorts. And if the lobby is any indication of what the rest of the museum looks like, this place was hit hard by that earthquake.
Oh boy.
The banner that welcomes visitors has been torn down. There's rubble everywhere. One of the entrances to the exhibits has been blocked by a fallen column, and the ceiling pipes are leaking just a little bit. The floor is, like, a little bit wet, too. It's not, like, a problem, but this isn't good. Even the statue of the late king and queens in the middle of the room is kind of fucked up a little. You can tell that's what it's supposed to be, but it doesn't look good right now. And this is the scene that you walked into.
Well, it's not too worse off than I expected, but still.
Yeah, this is pretty bad.
So now we just gotta figure out
Where to go.
Yeah, the sooner we can get the crystals, the faster we can get out.
Do you think there's still a directory somewhere?
We can certainly look. I hope there is.
Do you guys want to, like, roll for perception to see if you can find a directory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll for perception.
That is a 17 plus 3, 20.
19 plus 3, that is a 22.
I got a 19 plus 2, so 21.
Okay. Phoenix got a 14, which is pretty good. You look around and you do find what used to be a directory, but a lot of it is buried underneath some of the rubble.
Great.
A lot of things are buried underneath some rubble.
Well, I guess that rules that option.
Send to the adventure, guys. Come on, go home.
Okay, if it's a crystal, I would assume that maybe there's like a section of the museum that's all about gemstones?
Possibly.
Yeah, that's a possibility. It does also just look like...
I mean, we'll be able to tell when we see a blue glow of the crystal.
True.
Yep, that'll help.
Right, so I may as well just kind of start wandering around. How many doors are in this hallway? In this area?
There's a good number of doorways here, most of them filled with rubble, but there is one that is significantly less filled. It still looks like you have to climb up this rubble in order to leave this place, though.
Right.
Time to do some climbing.
Yup. Who's good at athletics?
It's not me,
boy.
so no.
I'm pretty good at athletics.
Oh boy, what am
That's
I?
a 13 plus 3, that's a 16!
16? Oh shit. Yeah. You're a climbing genius.
Athletic. Ooh, my athletics is not that high. Whoop.
Yeah, you climb up this thing like it's nobody's business.
I got a nat 20.
You got a nat 20?
Got a nat 20!
Holy shit!
Woohoo!
Yes.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
Do I have to roll for athletics too?
Yes!
Everyone does.
Fuck! I'm not good with athletics. I have a 0 in athletics, so
I know.
That's better than having a negative.
Holy crap! That's a 17.
Yeah!
That's pretty good.
You're good!
Yeah. Phoenix also did good. He got a 15.
Yay!
While you guys climb up the rubble, you guys are actually able to slide down the other side of it.
Nice.
Yeah, so it just turns out that there was just a little bit of rubble like in that doorway, and that's basically it.
Nice.
So yeah, you guys climbed up without an issue. Solis practically soared over it.
I just jumped over it.
Yeah, you got mad leaps, man. So yeah, now you're on the other side of the doorway, and you keep walking forward, and you eventually find yourselves in this small room. There's a large arc overhead that reveals that this is supposed to be the first queen's room. There's a statue of two merfolk with their arms interlocked. The only other thing of note in this room is actually a mirror that's hanging on like the right side of the wall. It's surprisingly intact considering everything.
Gonna do perception check on the mirror, because that's weird.
Okay.
That is a 12 plus 3, so that's a 15.
Okay. It's a mirror. Are you just looking at the mirror to just like see if there's anything weird about it?
Yeah, just examining.
Okay. So you're looking at this mirror, and as far as you can tell, it's just reflecting the rest of the room. There isn't anything particularly odd about this mirror, as far as you can tell.
Other than the fact that it's not broken.
Other than the fact that it's not broken.
Anyone have, like, detect magic or something? Because there is something... I don't trust this mirror. It should be broken. It should have some cracks in it.
I think Josh has Arcana.
Oh yeah.
Nobody has the actual spell detect magic.
I don't think you guys have detect magic, but you guys can do an Arcana check.
Yeah. I can do an Arcana check. That's a 15 plus 4, 19.
19. Oh shit. This is a magical mirror. You know that much. This is definitely magical, and it's the magic that's keeping this mirror intact. And this is one of those like reveal mirrors. It's not reflecting everything perfectly. There is something off about what's in the image.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Josh does relate this information to the others.
Can I do another perception check on the reflection?
Yes, you can.
As an 8 plus 3, so that's 11.
As far as you can tell, it's just reflecting everything. You can't see anything that's supposed to be off. You know that because this is that type of mirror, it's supposed to be a little bit off, but you don't see anything.
You said perception?
Yeah.
You can do perception, you can do investigation.
Which one is better? Investigation, they're both 2, so it doesn't really
Oh,
matter.
yeah. Actually,
Whoop. Got a 17 plus 2, so 19.
Oh, fuck.
I know.
Is it for perception or investigation?
Well, it's the same plus, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
At least for Solis, it doesn't matter in this instance. All right, yeah, so this image in the mirror is almost exactly the same as what's going on in the non-mirror world. The sole difference being that there is a book in the statue's hand that doesn't actually exist in your world.
Oh.
There's this statue, the women's arms are interlocked, and one of them is holding a knife and the other is holding her hand out with her palm up. And there isn't anything there, but in the mirror, there's a book there.
Sol just turns around and goes over to the statue and tries to feel for the book.
You touched the statue's hand and you don't feel the book there, even though it shows up in the mirror.
I'm gonna do a perception check on the room itself to see if there's maybe a book in here.
Okay.
That is a 12 plus 3, that's a 15.
Alright, you're looking around and you don't see a book. It's a little hard to tell though. There's a lot of like rubble here. But you don't at a first glance see this book.
Weird.
Anybody else gonna like look around the room?
Anybody else want to give it a go?
Can we phase through the mirror?
I mean, nobody's touched it yet.
You can try. Does anybody want to try?
Who wants to take a running jump?
Devora.
Wait, you're gonna run at it? Are you gonna run at it though?
Devora's gonna put her hand on it.
Okay. You feel the cold mirror.
Okay. It's like, yeah, no.
Well,
It's like, no, can't go through the mirror.
Alright, anything else you guys want to try?
What else is in the room?
There's the actual statue that's in the room. There was also clearly like other things hanging on the other walls, like little plaques with like information and stuff, but that doesn't really exist so much anymore because of the whole, this place was hit by an earthquake thing. Right. So a lot of rubble, a lot of these plaques and things have been ruined, but there was supposed to be like more information here that you just don't have access to.
Can we inspect these statues?
You can inspect away.
Oh, sorry. So we do an investigation check, right?
I mean, yeah, you can.
I got a 9 plus 2. So I don't think so.
Well, this is a pretty obvious statue, so I think you'll be able to see it even with that score.
Okay.
19 plus 3. 22.
I'll do an investigation check.
Okay. I chose perception because I got the plus 3 in it, so I got a 22 on it.
Okay.
That's a 13 plus 2, 15.
Okay. Phoenix also got a 14. You decide to look at this statue again, and it's a statue of two merfolk women. Their arms are interlocked. These women are also seemingly identical, right down to their outfits. The only real difference between them is that one is holding a knife, while the other one has her free hand stretched out. Other than that, the only thing of note really is that there is a plaque at the bottom of the statue that says, "Our first queens, the sisters May and June. May their wisdom guide us."
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah. Those are characters I've had before.
Yep.
Do you guys want to do anything else? Do you want to?
Sorry, trying to figure something out. Trying to figure this out.
Okay.
So the statues is two merfolk sisters, May and June.
Yep.
Okay, so there needs to be a book there.
You couldn't find the book, but perhaps somebody else could.
Yeah, I was gonna say, nobody else looked for the book. Devora was kind of the only one that looked.
I could look for the book. So
okay.
Please do perception
I'll do another investigation check.
Okay.
That's a 14 plus 3, 17.
A 17? Okay. Solis, do you want to do a little investigating or perception too?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You get a 10 plus 2, so 12.
Okay. Well, you don't see it, but Josh does. Within one of the bits of rubble, you see just like a little bit of a book peering out. It looks like it might have been like on a pedestal or something before, and it like fell, and then like rubble fell on top of it. But like it's peeking out a bit.
Josh does tell everyone that he found the book.
Hell yeah, time to get it out.
Since it's under rubble, is it easier to pick it up, or do you have to do a strength check?
Yeah, what kind of check would this be to get it out?
I was thinking that you just pull it out, but now that you tell me you want to check, so why don't we do a strength check?
No.
Well, thanks, guys.
Strength check. Strength checks for my amusement.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's fine. That's a 10 plus 1, 11.
That is an 11.
Okay.
Whoop. I got a 3 plus 1, so
I like
the
that.
bad rolls.
Phoenix is just gonna watch you guys, all three of you guys, attempt at the same time to pull out this book, which, on the face of it, looks kind of ridiculous. You try to pull it out, and it's just slips, and you take like a step or two back because you were just like trying too hard to pull it out.
Well, slippery fingers.
But Devora and Josh together, you both managed to pull out this book. Although, like, once you like grab it out of the rubble with the force that you're using to try to grab it, it almost flies out of your hand.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, whoops.
So you're not the most coordinated, but you tried, and you succeeded. Technically, you have the book now.
Huzzah!
Huzzah.
Okay, time to go put it on the statue.
Okay, so you put it on the statue, and for a moment there's silence, and then the door on the other side of the room opens.
Oh, sweet.
Cool.
You guys did a puzzle.
Thank you for listening to Tales of Familial Eternity. The music in this episode features songs from Ross Bugden, Kevin MacLeod, Carissa Brysk, and Audionautics. Links are available in the description. If you liked this episode, please leave a comment or message and tell us what you think. And if you would like to learn more about the characters as well as the campaign, please go to TofeCast at both Twitter and Tumblr for more information.